for an offensive slot there. Is that a renegade?
Well, let's go and head over to the QT stream. Yeah, they are going for a more aggressive composition.
So yeah, no two healers here. They are going for the high DPS. They want to make up some time right there already.
Yeah, they want to they want to cement themselves a lead from the very start, and that it's a bold move.
I'm always almost a little bit confused there because US was so ballsy up to this point. This is the first time where they seem to go the safe route, unless they prove me wrong and it ends up being a DPS template, right? Wouldn't expect that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it could end up being, assuming that it would get messy otherwise, it is better for them to do this, right? But assuming that QT can hold it together and not downside, which is that's no mean feat, right? It might turn into a bit of a fiesta, and as a result of that fiesta, US may even have more DPS, right? That could happen.
Cairn can very quickly snowball, so might not be a bad idea to go safer at all.
I think US just went with the comps that they know it works for them, like yesterday. Because I think then they gonna go all Scourge for Deimos, Epipounds.
Oh, okay.
So I think they just continue. I think yesterday they were very consistent and very clean. So I think they just kept that.
And both of these teams already gliding in, making sure they get this early start on Cairn, right? Making sure they're already in position by the time the boss spawns.
Now let's just hope both groups does not forget to turn on challenge mode at Merced Overseers.
Yeah.
That was at 1%, of course.
Oh, no, we don't want to see a repeat of that. That was heartbreaking, man. That was really, really not nice to watch. And here we go. It is coming. Wait, hang on a minute. Is that a heal renegade for Quantify?
Yes,
So there is, in fact, it is going to be a double healer comp for both of these players. They are, in fact, going for a heal rev in addition to this. So the heal Ellie on the side of United Scrubs and the heal Revenant for QT. A really interesting choice there. So do you think they want to use Tempest later on as a ban then?
Yes, because they're probably going to drop Tempest and Weaver, all of that at the whole thing and just full meme Scourge it.
So maybe they play Tempest on Samurog or something so they can get rid of that, maybe. You're obviously going to stack Necros for... Maybe they play one Tempest on Merced Overseer as well, just for the cleave on the ad. Perhaps?
I don't know why you would really want to play it on Merced Overseer, but I could definitely see them want more Ellies on the Demos or Samurog fights. But I think it's very interesting they are showing off that Renegade can be played in a defensive way because they probably want that Herald for the Handkite later on, right? So it's a very, very, very interesting choice. I'd really like to see this. Some very creative new build making.
Yeah, really cool. And of course, it will give them access to a huge amount of alacrity as well, so they'll have that additional uptime there. Because of course they have only one chrono, but they'll be able to supply alacrity to every single player very easily, which is a good thing for them, I guess. That's going to certainly help them out. Very convenient. We also see Time Warp on the Mirage, well, at least Phoenix Mirage, for QT.
Well, the thing is, you don't really need any of the others here, right? The blink, it might be a tiny little DPS increase, but if in return your chrono might be able to get a little bit more DPS here, it's not really not a bad choice on Cairn, right? And you don't need the MOA here, you don't need any CC, so really Mirage can bring some of these other utilities here instead of what you'd usually see a Mirage bring.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're very close, though.
Yeah, it is very close. Is it even 5%? This is really, really close here from both of these groups. Evenly matched. So the choice of healer not really making a huge difference. The Tempest is probably the safer option, I would assume, just because the sheer amount of sustain it provides, right? But the Renegade has the Frost debuff, but that doesn't really make a big difference with... they're both playing condition comps, right? So it's not a huge deal. So maybe the Renegade is slightly a higher DPS option, right? But... I think the composition difference here is pretty minimal here, honestly. I think there's not too much of a big deal.
I think we're going to see this play out really in the later bosses when we see where they're going with these choices, right? Why did they not bring a heal Tempest? Why did they... what are they going to do with this Tempest pick that is now open for them? So maybe right now we might not see a big difference, but it might show to be a fatal on the later boss.
No? Yeah. I think QT a slight lead, a tiny little lead.
Yeah, they do. They do have a slight over.
And there's Ken going down.
DPS compared to US, but yeah.
And US, whoa, about 5 seconds. I mean, I think about 5 seconds behind. Honestly, I think they are very, very close because of the slight delay difference in the stream.
Neck and neck.
Yeah, absolutely neck and neck here. Very, very, very close here. There is a bit of a time save that can be done here. Of course, you can do some cheeky little portals here to teleport around all over the place. And you can get to that shovel and start digging a hole a bit quicker.
Get the memes going.
Nice meme. Yeah, you can definitely. This is another one of these events where you can save so much time from being quickly, from using those portals efficiently and fast. Finding it's actually like this is like kind of the dungeon challenge, right? Finding these blink spots immediately, making sure you're really fast on the skips.
And I think US taking a bit of an edge there. I think they have got some really nice portals here.
Oh, it's the wrong portal there, Phoenix.
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah.
Oh.
Accidentally porting back.
I'm very interested to see Merced Overseers because both of these group tanking strat for Merced Overseers are very different.
Yes.
QT goes to a corner while US pull a little bit up and get the early epi. So,
No, that's true. That was a little bit curious yesterday that they.
Yeah. I think
it almost felt to me like Subi was like reacting to the situation, like choosing to go to the corner blue at one point, and then just decided to kind of stay there.
It's a bit more fluid, whereas the other strats are more strict. QT taking a bit of a lead there, I think. Though I think their portals worked out better for them, and they've perhaps elongated their minor lead into a bit more of a significant one. Actually, I think.
That few seconds Planet's portal might have caused.
Yeah, QT not messing around in their transition there.
Yeah. Very clean transition from QT there, getting into this boss. Now, this boss is going to be where Necro is king, right? It makes the boss so much easier, but the great thing is it also makes it really fast because you can epidemic bounce a lot here. As you can see, the ads over there for QT are already covered in aids and being used as a DPS source back onto the boss.
And I like that QT's using a Reaper here. Which means that they probably have a plan to use Scourge later, because they're otherwise they would just use a Scourge in that slot.
Yeah, for the ban, of course. Or maybe they could be banning Scourge and Reaper. In fact, because what other classes do they have?
Spellbreaker.
Yeah, because they yeah. That seems like a direction.
To the corner.
Yeah, they've gone to their corner. They're dealing with them because fine. Those blue squares, guys. You may be noticing that the players are actually standing in different squares mysteriously. That is because a really cool part about this fight is that those blue squares, which insta-kill you if you're not standing in them, are actually client side. So every player may have to go in a different square. Really cool feature about this fight. This. To be honest, although it is a relatively easy fight, it is probably one of my favorite in the entire game. It is a really, really awesome fight to play.
It is very nice, especially another reason I like it is because like your DPS actually changes some timings around. So you have to like if you have really good DPS, this actually makes the fight a lot easier, right? And really helps you out. So that's a very cool part of this mechanic.
Yeah.
Arcane almost bait the chat there.
No, he's trying to bait them into saying they didn't activate CM, but oh, they absolutely did. That's not the... Oh, actually, those blue squares are a little bit awkward there for US, but nope, actually not really. It just looked a bit scary. This fight kind of scares me. I think... on terms of DPS, I think US is maybe even gaining a little bit on QT, because they actually started at quite the deficit. They still do have about 25% of the HP behind QT, but US putting in that work with those rotations and maybe bringing it back a little bit here.
I think it's mostly because US doesn't seem to move around as much, but for QT with this strat, it seems like they are dragging Merced Overseers over the place.
But with the strategy, doesn't that really matter that much though with Necros?
Exactly. No, it doesn't really. Like, I mean, if you have Weavers, if you have Ellies, then yes, you want the boss to stand still, right? But on this, Necros is one of the big strengths of Necros that you can actually move the boss.
Down one.
Ooh, yeah. One player got caught there. I think they should still be able to finish it though, right? Because it's just about... Oh, actually, hang on a minute.
That's going to be a tough one, yeah.
Oh, no, they managed to get it. Oh,
it's also about the APM too. You know, if you look at QT, they are claiming almost every tile versus US are only claiming like 4 tiles in the middle, saving times when.
Well, I mean, if you don't always.
Oh, hang on a minute. Oh no, QT have the protect. Whoa, they have the protector. That was looking very scary there, but they do actually have protect. They do survive, and yeah, QT will get it. Will be able to kill Mercer Overseer. US.
Only 20% behind.
Yeah, really, yeah. Really close here for US, putting that protect down. There's only about 30 seconds in this right now. QT, I think most of their lead actually came not from their DPS. I think it was relatively similar, maybe even favored towards US. Most of the lead came from their transition there, actually, which is kind of interesting.
This is one of the big strengths of QT. They are still used to the dungeon times, right? They know how to skip quickly. They did this in the last tournament. They are able to gain on other teams in these events and these skip parts so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, US is having a little bit of trouble here. I thought they would be dead by now, and an ad is actually up. Not ideal for US, forced to go to the corner here, but the Mercer Overseer will be dying in just a few seconds. I think that is about a 45-second deficit there. It got a little bit messy towards the end there. They're going to have to pull something out special on these last 2 bosses. And the bands are up there. It's going to be the Berserker and Hollowsmith band. For United Scrubs and for QT, as Nike predicted, they banned the Spellbreaker and the Reaper.
One advantage for US is that, like you said, they're used to doing the CMs, so their tanking pattern on Samurog should be pretty good, which will give them the most DPS uptime for their DPS, because their DPS will always be in a good position. So that could be an advantage for them that QT might not have.
Oh. And QT starting up here, going on to Samurog. Let's see the strategy we've seen from all the guilds has actually been a much different one to how you would conventionally do Samurog CM. It is a much more aggressive tanking strategy, and you just, well, to be quite honest, you just cheese it really hard with stability, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing here from QT, already making it to the first CC phase. US, look guys, they have 10 players for this. Because they used one fewer player. Right, they're going to have an additional one here on Samurog, and that could bring them back into this. One player can make a big difference, especially if it's a DPS player.
I do like that QT is using
DPS as tanks, right? Oh, wait, oh. No. Yeah, the Firebrand is an interesting choice. What do you think about that? I guess they use it as a ban?
Yes.
The Aegis
can provide a lot of defensive
stability.
And on-demand stability.
Yeah, plenty of support as well. Very, very handy. Do they have a... Oh, yeah, I believe, yeah, they were running this last time. They have a Firebrand in every single group as well. And they could also provide solid CC as well, because you can just drop the Fire Mantra and have a Bane Signet on each one, and of course you can use that every single time. Right? Well, actually not for every Breakball because of how fast it is, but you can certainly help with the CC. Also, Axe as well does have a bit of CC on it as well, so you can help out with that. But also a strong DPS choice, okay? Firebrand is no slouch when it comes to the meters. You can do a lot of damage with it.
We see that US has chosen to go with 3 Weavers and a Dragon Hunter.
No.
So no Firebrands on their side. But still, I mean, Dragon Hunter pretty much has the same advantages, right? He doesn't have quite as much Aegis, but he can if he wants to. And,
I think the stability mantra for the Firebrand makes it a little bit more reliable than having to use Stand Your Ground.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the big advantage of the Firebrand.
Well, I think Firebrand also does more damage as well. It has less CC, but it does more damage than the Dragon Hunter as well.
Ooh, that was a dangerous spear right there. Almost messed that up.
And QT nearly about halfway through this first ad phase on Samurog, whereas US are just approaching the first ad phase, just finishing that last break bar before they will be moving on there. So not too far behind. That extra player should start to pay off for them soon. Actually, do they even have an extra player? They only have 9.
No, it's 9 and 9.
It's 9. So I guess they're using that extra player on Demos then. Never mind. Cancel that.
Yep.
Well, that can be a pretty big deal too. I would say maybe less significant though, actually, but never mind. Never mind. And there we go. QT back fighting the boss. It recommences, my friends. US just starting that, so a good chunk of time there behind, but it's certainly not over yet. I would not count out US. Things can start to go wrong on these fights. Although I have to say, QT does look rock solid.
Yeah, no flaws yet so far in the Samurog.
Yeah, it does look clean.
I love all the Weaver gameplay on Samurogs. I mean, Weaver has such an intricate rotation, right? And you need so much movement on Samurog. I would have actually expected way more teams to run safe builds on this, but people are going for these hard-to-play, high DPS, high-reward classes, and they're pulling it off really well.
Yeah, and you can see that the tank strats that have been adapted here are barely moving them. Compared to, I mean, usually you would run, well, I mean, the conventional strategy for Samurog is to move all the way around the arena, right? You just go everywhere, pretty much. You take quite a wide path, but you can see that these guilds have adapted. They've created this new tanking strategy for Samurog CM that allows these Weavers to pretty much land every single one of their AoEs the entire time, right? And this is really dangerous. You can see that Samurog is a big guy. Like, all of his attacks are basically knockbacks. So the fact that they're doing this means that they have to be really careful with their stability. And that is why you see stuff like the Firebrand, like Chaos Chrono, to make sure that even if you get hit by the mechanics, they don't affect you in the way that they're supposed to, which is to knock you back into those spears, which will one-shot you.
Yes, and getting hit on a Weaver is just fatal, right? You're going to go down so quickly. Your gameplay has to be on par to pull this off. You cannot slack on this.
Absolutely not. And QT really blazing ahead right now. They're already into their second split phase. US just pushing through now. About 50% HP on there, so about about what is it? 17, 16%.
17% there, right? Yeah, they're definitely pushing their times there on QT.
I mean, 17% here, right? Like, will one player allow US to maybe get a bit of a benefit? Oh no, US don't have 2 downs. Good res though. Good res. Another one down. Are they going to be able to get him? Yes, they are. Yes, they absolutely are.
Just a slight bit of headwind, but no trouble there.
Yep, not a problem. The US, easy recovery for themselves there. And they're going to be approaching that second split phase soon. But the thing is, QT have already finished theirs.
Did somebody just die?
Yeah, did they miss a C? They missed a CC. No. That is really, really unfortunate.
They were missing. He died on like 5% ish of the CC bar. That's a bad one. Oof.
Yeah. That is a bit rough, unfortunately, for US. But I think they will, of course, be able to finish. Thing is, that is going to really delay them going into Demos, and QT will soon be finished, and US still have to go through the split phase. QT looking strong right now. And what is the time to beat? I believe the time to beat is about 27 minutes. That is the fastest fastest CM runs we've seen.
You guys are having a bit of a rough time now with the tanking.
Yeah, and manipulating Rig'em as well. He seems to be he seems to be not quite in position, unfortunately. The spears will now dissipate, so they will be able to deal with that a little bit easier. But these are seconds they can't afford, right? Yeah, he still has a shield up. Oh, that is not unfortunate. Oh, that is not unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is very, very unfortunate for US. It's unfortunate, Scrubs. Feels bad, man.
The new name.
Now say they're on QT's first downside, is it?
Yeah, I think so far it has been very, very clean, but I suppose, it has to happen sometime. Is that the last break? But I believe it is. And QT...
And they break it immediately.
Yeah. Instead, because some guilds would go for a GG there, right? Some would go for a GG, but QT, no. They leave no hero behind, my friends, and they're going to be powering ahead onto Demos now, with United Scrubs still having a 33% HP deficit, and that's a lot on Samurog. His HP is it 42 million, I think? Or is it it's just 40 million, actually. So 33% of that is a lot, and there it is, QT powering on to Demos. And if all goes well here, if they can keep this clean, they should be in a pretty good spot to... face MNF for a spot in the finals.
Looks like QT is going with the Scourge strat.
Yeah. They banned the Weaver and the Firebrand. They are going for Scourges. Of course, a great choice here. We did see them do this yesterday, right?
Oh, they lost the second one. No, that's down as well. They missed that CC. It is not on point now that they only have... Wait, are both Chronos dead now? Yeah, they are.
Oh no! So no Moa, no quickness, no and that's
no boons.
They're gonna be
That is going to be
That
rough.
is so unfortunate. And that's probably the reason they even lost the play in the first place. It was the Chrono who got CC. And if Chrono gets CC by Samrock, you lose so much. You lose so much CC.
And having none of it, they're probably going to have to sacrifice more players because they're most likely not going to make that CC.
At this point, you might as well think about just GGing in the first place.
Yes, yeah. And they won't actually, they probably might not. Oh no! Oh no, what a disaster! The Druid gets knocked and spiked! That is not what they needed right now.
No, they're missing a lot of the stability now. They're missing
healing, boons.
So much.
Oh, this is a wipe.
Cannot break this.
This is a wipe. That's going to be a wipe.
No.
Yeah, they're all GGing.
At the end of Samurog.
At the last 20% of Samurog CM.
Oh, that stings. That stings.
That'll give Samur a chance to get the CC pet.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
That is really unfortunate.
Take it cool now, and
yeah, they have to just try and refocus and get this done quickly, and hope that QT has some serious mishaps, because that's what they're gonna need.
There is always the chance, right? But QT at this point they just have to play it safe, right? So
I mean, they are playing it safe with all that Scourge, you know.
Yeah, they have a rather safe comp. The chances are that at this point, that you hear basically about what's happening on the other team, so might as well play it safe at this point. But we'll see. It's always something. Something can always happen. Even if you play.
US is the underdogs. Who knows? Maybe this is their story.
US
or
have
maybe
been
it is
in
the end
for
of it.
some surprises in this match so far in this entire tournament. So I would be surprised, but I mean, it's not impossible.
Repeat itself, but flip-flop. It's last time SC came back from the bracket, right? To face QT.
Yes, that is how it went. Oh, the tables have turned. Perhaps the tables have turned. I mean, it's not a done deal, though. I mean, hey, guys, the winner here will have to face MNF, and that is not a guild that I don't think anyone really wants to face. That's scary, man. These Necros doing some serious work here. Of course, this makes it very, very clean here. And still a very strong DPS option. I think, Weaver is great, right? Weaver's great. But Necro is really, really strong on this boss too, That epi bouncing gets more and more consistent as the boss goes on. You start to have extra ad spawning with the Prides trying to go in and damage Saul. And you can use that as fodder for your epidemics. And of course, the Souls are, kind of like the real bosses here. Like, Demos himself doesn't do too much. He just kind of slaps you with a mace and knocks you back sometimes, which is, handled by the Mesmers. But the Souls can really mess you up, especially the second one on CM, because the second one can remove the Aegis, okay? And that can lead to an instant wipe, okay? And that is you can't recover from an instant wipe, guys. So that's always a serious threat, and that is why Necros can make this not only fast, but also clean. And US, they are at the first split phase now, but that is a huge deficit, unfortunately. That's a lot of time that they need to make up.
Yeah, they're minutes behind at this point.
Yeah. So it needs to be a deep wipe, right? It needs to be a very deep wipe. We're talking like last 10%, honestly. Because, I mean, QT are burning through this boss right now. Oh, actually, hang on. Is that a failed teleport? Oh, that is.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
3 people got up there, if I see it correctly.
I think they'll be okay, though, right? I think they should be all right.
It's going to be a rough ride, but they can pull this through.
Yeah. With the barrier spam and it's triple necro, so they're pretty beefy. It will take them a very long time, though, I have to say. It's going to be slow.
But at the same time, the other Necros can still DPS the boss, right? So you don't overall lose that much time, because while you don't get to DPS the Saul, right, Demas will still go down on the main platform.
Correct.
The only issue is going to be if the aura catches up with them before they phase him.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be going that way, but a few unlucky splits and that could actually happen.
Yeah. Oh, they do get another split. That's probably not exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think. Oh, actually, they are getting
pretty heavy. Oh,
that's a lot of damage. I think they are just. Oh, they have 3. All 3 of them looks like they are going to be going down. I think.
Oh no.
Oh, and yeah, QT's going to reset it. Yep, QT resets.
There's the chance, boys.
There we
US.
Yeah, the underdog.
Yeah.
Huge deficit to crawl out of. This is barely gonna set.
Yeah.
That's a start, right? That's a
But
start.
it's a
I mean,
first step for US's
You do
chance
need
to come back
you
into
need
this.
multiple things to go in your favor, and this is one of them. So
Yeah, exactly. It's one puzzle piece.
And you can see this, guys. Like, this is a really big thing. That these guilds are the best of the best, okay? And things are still going wrong for them, right? At the end of the day, this is not easy, guys. Like, especially considering the amount of pressure. They know that they can't just... This isn't where you can just do the kill 10 times and then you upload the good one, you know? They've got to do these live, okay? They have to do this live. They cannot mess it up.
This is one of the crazy fun factors about this, right? You have to make this choice between, are we going to go safe or are we going to go fast? And we've seen teams go the safe route and then not be fast enough. And we have seen teams go too fast and then not be safe enough, and then they wipe and they lose anyway, you know? So it's this trade-off, being like finding the perfect balance between being safe and being fast. That's the real challenge here. So definitely, like, heads down to all of these skills. You have to invest so much time and so much theorycraft into this. To find your perfect sweet spot of a comp, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a little bit unfortunate. The timing was quite unfortunate there for QT, and I think that he just didn't. Maybe he wasn't certain he would have the Aegis, so he was uncertain whether he should dodge or not, and he made that snap decision. And unfortunately, there was a bit of a punish there, and that is something that can happen. It is a difficult thing. It seems so simple, right? Just stand in the green circle and get teleported, but with the knockbacks that need to be blocked, it can get complicated unless everyone dodges in the same direction.
This is a very easy mechanic to panic on, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I mean, so you can gamble and say, well, maybe I'm gonna get the invuln off of the port quick enough, right? Maybe I'm gonna get Aegis. If anything doesn't work, you know, he might as well have stayed and gotten knocked away.
Yeah, I mean, of course, QT is still a very good chunk ahead, as it looks like.
Very good lead.
Yeah, United Scrubs though, they are doing work. They're
moving on to the last 33% just in a second. Yeah, there they go.
Yeah.
And
so,
this time
yeah,
it
not
worked
too bad
out for them, right? This time they got.
They've got both Chronos alive at the 33 mark.
Yeah, so, that's what you want to have. I mean, you need that CC.
Risky CC and just a little bit of
that knockback there.
A second ago.
No.
But it is going to come down to QT going to wipe again at any point, because that is what US will definitely need. They need another wipe on QT's side.
Yeah.
Unless that happens, it's probably not gonna
as in QT are already about 60%. They're approaching where the black goo will spawn. But hey, and that's another thing that can go wrong with this process. This is probably one of the most infamous mechanics in the entire raid scene of Guild Wars 2, I would say, actually. The black goo that Demos spawns after 60%, touching it will cause it to expand. This is, it's reminiscent, of course, Lich King in World of Warcraft. And it will wipe your group within seconds because it will expand onto other people. They will then trigger it. And that innocent-looking little black patch there, guys, that is your worst enemy if you get anywhere near that. Another wipe would definitely be necessary. Well, either a massive fiesta or a wipe is going to be necessary for US to get back in on this. But one thing to consider and bear in mind is that QT have one less player, so they can actually be a little bit ahead, and US would gain time, in theory, all things considered even, especially seeing as I think US is going to play Weavers on Demos.
And so US seems to be finishing off Samurai now. They have done the last CC. Also didn't choose to GG there like most other teams did, just like QT. So they seem to be finishing this boss very safely now.
And Samurai is going down easily.
Yep.
And at this point, all it takes is one QT wipe, and they will actually be ahead again.
Yep,
because they're now at the final boss, the final encounter for them. One thing to bear in mind, guys, is to keep an eye on the HP of the shackled prisoner. Okay, you got to keep an eye on that. As if he dies, the fight is over. The goal is to defend Saul. It's not too much of an issue on the normal mode. Of course, not too much of an issue there, but when it comes to the challenge mode, it is very, very relevant indeed. Okay, it's extremely important. because you can't heal him. And he also sits there like a lemon doing nothing. Doesn't help you at all. But things look pretty stable for QT so far. Those Necros really paying off. The ads dying so very, very quickly. With the DPS pretty strong as well. Here comes the Pride. The Pride now spawning. But they're ready to epi bounce off it. And they're going to be getting some insane damage off that while neutralizing it completely. They really don't want to go this going. Every time one of those big guys goes in, that will reduce the HP on the Soul by 25%, okay? So you really can't afford to have those go through, especially seeing as it's very difficult to prevent all the little greeds, or the little guys from going through who do, was it 2% or something, I think?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
There's also, those ads are also one of the reasons why Necro is so really good on Demo's fight. It really makes the epi shine.
Yeah.
They are going for the rather risky strat here of sending one player up to deal with an out-tank Sol D'Alessio, which will make the last 10% a little bit, a little bit harder.
Oh no, they use that as an epi bounce on the last 10%. That's it.
Oh, that's actually true. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's how they did.
I think it was. Although Demos is a structure at that point, so does it land on him, or can you only epi off him, or can you only epi onto him? I kind of sure remember how that works. Not sure the interaction on that.
Actually, not quite sure about that myself, but it definitely does give a little bit of room for mistake here, right? I mean, if they take too long on the fight, I mean, Scourge is pretty good at sustaining, right? He can bury himself up. He's doing good so far, right?
Yeah,
but
he's really not under too much pressure.
Too long, he might eventually tick down, right? He might eventually not be able to sustain himself, and then they will have another player less, right? And then things can snowball out of control. So it is possible.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You have to be careful with these things. We're not going to see unfortunately, not going to see a super speedy time, because of course there have been wipes on both sides. But still, guys, half an hour for a full CM run of Wing 4 low man, that is nothing to be sniffed at. That is impressive. Fennec, unfortunately,
under some pressure here now.
Yeah, he is in the down state. Will they be able to get him? Yeah, they are going to get him. Yeah, we see Subi just teleporting up there and able to get that res. But I think US
getting hit by some heavy aura ticks though. Oh.
US are battling hard. They are doing a lot of work here, but don't think they'll be able to catch up this here. They're not going to be able to catch up.
They're pushing some heavy DPS though, but they're really going all out.
Yeah, they are doing.
Getting a few down here and there.
Oh, yeah, it is getting a little bit messy. It is getting a bit messy on both hands. You can see those hands all over the place. But
they are epping bounce off the teleportation onto Deimos.
Yeah.
So into Deimos.
Yeah.
They are breaking in really well. They are
it's going to be over.
Under control.
Gets teleported.
Oh, there he.
Oh, that black. Oh, teleported. Oh.
But it was at this point the conditions will finish it no matter what, and that is it.
And that is it. Congrats to QT.
QT are going to be moving on, guys. They will. Oh, a triggered black for US. So at the same time. But that does not matter.
To get out because before it gets too big. What a great match, though. What a great match.
Yes.
Honestly, wiping to Stamrock CM on those last percent, so unfortunate, but this happens so easily because it's such a hard encounter, really. This is probably the hardest fight in the entire league, is that Stamrock CM.
Yeah. It really is. It is certainly the hardest challenge mode. I think everyone would agree with that. It really is a tricky one.
Yeah.